and Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 3 warp. Rotate.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with a literal last-minute live stream. Didn't think I was going to stream today. I'm actually going into the sim this evening to do what's called a loft flight, line-oriented flight training, and I'm going to recreate that flight right now as kind of practice for myself and also for a little bit of entertainment for y'all, just because I haven't been able to fly the sim much at all, my home sim. You know, I've been in the real sim for the last 3 weeks or so. Training is winding down to an end. It's mostly checking. I completed my maneuvers validation check yesterday. I've got the loft tonight, and then my type ride will be tomorrow on the LOE. So not a whole lot of time to fluff around here, because I do want to get some other stuff done today. I did come home from the hotel, so the kids are at dance class and all that stuff, so I wanted to finish this up before they finish up. So we're going to keep it moving the whole time, but it should be an interesting one for y'all. I got to tell you, I'm loving the 7.3. I love it. I got a lot of things to say about it, which I'm sure we'll get into a nice long podcast about the 737 versus Airbus here a little bit later on, but as of right now, it's been fun. So what's on the plate for today? We have a short flight. This is the exact profile I'm going to be allegedly flying on my loft flight. It's going to be Kennedy, JFK down to DC Washington National. We're going to shoot the RNP-19 with a 15-knot crosswind, try to keep us in limits there. So we're going to couple little things going on. We're going to do a runway change. We're going to look at some stuff. I'm going to be using all my real-world weights, so I have the documentation and everything for my training ahead of time. And I'm going to plug those numbers into the PMDG, and we'll see what it spits out and compare it to my real numbers as well. So it should be fun to kind of compare and contrast what the PMDG numbers give us performance-wise versus what I also have jotted down for the real stuff tonight. So it should be fun. I hope you're all ready to rock and roll. I'm going to try to read the chat when I can, but I'm also going to try to stay focused and on task as much as I can as well. So please don't take offense to that. I'm just going to be trying to keep my heads down and use this as a training refreshing tool. You know, this is the 2026 version of chair flying that we used to do as student pilots, and which you should still do. You know, you sit there in a dark room, or it doesn't have to be dark, just sit there in a quiet place and mentally go through the entire flight profile. We're going to do the same thing, but better than that, we're actually going to do it. So can the 7.3 shoot LPV? I'm sure, I don't know if they can. Ours do not. We don't shoot LPV. We shoot R and PAR though. So, all right. Sam says, pausing my fire system module to watch your stream, study flows. Oh boy, the pressure's on, Sam. Well, this will be a good one because I'm going to go over the runway change as well. So prepare to hear a lot of briefing, if you will. All right. We are in one of the best liveries known to 737. That is the Astrojet. Now, it doesn't look awesome when it's cloudy and rainy, but it's still one of the best liveries to ever grace the 737. I have custom weather set up. We're in Kennedy. I have custom weather set up for the weather environmentals that I will be faced with tonight. So it's should be about 3 or 4 degrees outside, rain, mist. It's cold, but not snowing. And then when we get to DC, we're gonna have a nice crosswind. So. Runway change briefing. I've only got 3 hours. Indeed. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do this. We show up to the airplane, and we're going to go ahead and do our normal checks, right? We're going to check for our emergency equipment. We're going to check, we're going to check our circuit breakers. We're going to check for our documentation, etc., our yellow book, our QRC, and then we're going to come up to the overhead, and we're going to realize that we have absolutely no power to the airplane, and I'm going to fix that right now. I'm actually going to connect ground power real quick. Let's do jet bridge and external pit power, and let's request that and that as well. All right, should get a ground power light here in a minute. We're gonna do our power up procedure. All right, there's our ground power. Beautiful. So battery switch is coming on, standby is closed, that's closed, 3 greens, we're looking good. The ground power is coming online. Ground power is up. I'm going to kind of set the lighting panel here, make sure everything looks good. We'll get the Abris flood, background floods. It's kind of good practice to be sitting both seats, you know. I've been sitting in the right seat, of course, for all my training. But being able to sit here in the left seat as well is kind of neat. All right, airplane is powered up. Let's go ahead and begin an overhead flow. Let's throw these into a line nav. Service interphone is off. Dome light is off. That's fine. 3 greens. Let's do an oxygen check. Beautiful. Oxygen check. Coming across here, EECs are in normal mode. Mach airspeed. Stall. Stall. Boom. Hydraulics are off. Let's wait for the screen to power up here. We'll check our hydraulic quantities here in just a minute. Any airplane could shoot any approach if it's equipped to do so. That is the truth right there. That is the truth. I live in Fort Worth near the Speedway. That would be nice when I go home from work. Yeah, man, it's been it's warmed up though. But man, where I live, it was just compacted ice on ice, and just has not been very good for driving, even with the melt, because it melts during the day and then it becomes an ice rink overnight. But all right, there we go. Now we got our stuff on. We got oil quantities. We'll check the quantity in hydraulic as well too. That looks good. We'll blank that. We'll set the park brake. We'll come down here. I got to mess with these yesterday in the sim again. That was fun. Boom. Did emergency gear extension. That's stowed. Head outside. Walk around. Hope you got your coat and your jacket, or your jacket and your hat rather, because it's going to be a cold walk around. We'll come back. We'll continue the overhead flow. Get the yaw damper switch on. This is in normal. Fuel pumps. We'll do left forward pump for right now. Let's get ready to fire up the APU, and we'll throw you over to APU gen. That's off, that's off. I'm actually going to get the APU going now because it's pretty cold. We want to warm up the cabin, so let's get that cooking. APU is spooling up. We get the emergency exit lights. Seatbelts are off. Window heats are coming on. And because of the visibility and the temperature, we're actually going to get the probe heats on at the gate. That's going to be part of our brief tonight. So probe heats are coming on during pre-flight. Hydraulics are staying off. CVR test. Beautiful. Coming up to the right-hand side. Autos, trim air is on. Recircs packs are set associated. Our cruise altitude. Let me look at my real flight plan release tonight. We are going to be flying over there at 23,000 feet. 23,000 feet, and DC landing elevation is 14 feet, so we'll call it 0. 23 is set. I'll also set my MCP. And also, let me make sure I have, let's get the setup cam going here. Cool, we got the setup cam going. Alright, so pressurization is set. Let's get the position and logo lights on. We're going to do, it's going to be my leg to fly, so I'm actually going to put that in the right seat for right now tonight. No skipped spot there. Let's get terrain up on ND. Terrain up, we'll do a magic barrel ref. Engine out, acceleration, altitude. Our first runway plan is going to be 1020, but we're going to be planning for, we're going to do a runway change. We're going to plan for 22 right. We're eventually going to change. So I will set a baro min of 1020. Engine out, acceleration, altitude. All right, 1020 is set once, and not on that side. Don't do this. Just making sure it's in the normal position. All right, cool. We'll hit the magic barrel ref. It should be 3000. Let me see what my weather. Let me change that to what my ATIS shows. We're going to do that. All right, 3000 is set. All right, continuing across. Flight director's on. Auto throttle is armed. We're going to plan off runway 22 right. Is going to be our initial plan for departure, and that's going to be course 224. 224 and 224. It's also been about 3 minutes. Let's get the APU on. Beautiful. APU's on buses. Let's get some air going here. We're going to go packs. Boom, boom. APU bleed is coming on. And we're going to warm everybody up just a touch here. All right. Continuing with our flow across the way. Looking at 22 right. Takeoff speed V2 is going to be 146. 146. All right, flight director is on. Terrain mode is still going to be. It's going to be coming up on that side here. We got to get a line. That's fine. All right, nose wheel steering closed, guarded. Let's do our test. Tapes and eights. Check. Fuel flow rate. Reset back to rate. Auto brakes. RTO. Coming down through here. This is all closed and guarded. Let's go ahead and do a pause and knit. KJFK. Wonderful. We'll just take that last pause. We'll put you in there. Beautiful route. JFK to Washington National. And I'll pull a flight plan request. Oh, why don't I have that? Because I don't have it over here. There it is. Flight plan request, that's us, JFK DC, select route. That's going to do its thing. We're continuing our flow as we go across, though. I checked all that. Coming down through here, fire test. Fault APU, boom, let's go overheat fire, wheel well, lights come up, kill the bell. That's a successful test. Squibs 2. Cargo fire noise, discharge, forward and aft. Be able to check that bell cutout as well. Radios are set 24. That's fine. We'll leave that as is. Let's just throw our squawk code in now. 2522. I'm making it up. Put that on TARA. That looks good. I can get a little bit more panel brightness zeroed out. Stab trim is normal, and the lights out. Wonderful. We're all set up there. Let's go ahead and continue plugging away at the box. I can bring this over here too. Let's load the route. Route uplink is loading. And while that's loading, I'm also going to go weight and balance. We're just going to say load plane from sim. Oh, no. I'm not. That's okay. Even though I did that, we're going to manually load it. I'm going to manually load the weights from my my performance charts that I'm going to be using, what I'm going to load the aircraft tonight. So let's do a little at a time here. Let's get the route loaded in. Departure arrivals. All right, we're going to be departing Kennedy 22 right, JFK 5 execute. Robbinsville, Copes, Modena, and then it's going to be the Clipper. And I'm going to load up DC. We're going to load the RNP Zulu 19er off the Clipper, Modena, execute. Beautiful, perf and it. Now I'm going to put in my, here's what's going to get interesting. I'm going to put in my weights that I'm going to use tonight, my real world weights, and let's see what kind of numbers we get. We'll compare and contrast for performance. So tonight I am going to be loading a planned takeoff weight, a zero fuel weight of 125.5. 125.5. And actually, isn't there a way to load it exactly that way? So let's go do this. FS actions, payload. I'm going to set, zero fuel weight 125.0. Good. Fuel, I'm going to load up 14,000. Beautiful, 14,000 on that side. Okay, cool. So now I have a zero fuel weight and the actual fuel set as required. The reserve fuel today, we've got 4.4 plus 2, let's call it 6.4. Cost index is 33. And we're cruising over there, what I say, 23,000 feet, 230. We'll execute that, N1 limits. So, enable 250 at Baltimore. Right now, we're planning for 22 right departure. We're going to assume temperature to 54. It's going to be a wet takeoff. We're actually the short field performance aircraft tonight, so that won't apply necessarily to what we're doing today in the Microsoft Flight Sim. But tonight we're actually using this short field performance numbers. 24K thrust wet, assumed to 54, off 22 right. All right, that checks. Going to the takeoff. It's planning on flaps 1 and CG is 21.0 and stab trim 5.5 units. Cool, 5.5 units is set. I'm going to turn QRH speeds off. All right, with QRH speeds off, 22 right numbers, 39, 44, 46. $88.4 and 44.7. Cool. 88.4. Bleeds are off right now. Oh, bleeds are on. Cool. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So that all checks out. That's done. And I'm going to throw you over here. Let's go back up top. Our fueling is complete. We'll throw you on, get the seatbelt sign on. We're on buses. Ground power is off. That looks good. Pressurization is set. Our bleeds are working. All right, let's run a before start checks to the line. Parking brake, set, oxygen, check, navigation transfer and display switches, normal and auto, window heat, that is on, pressurization, auto and set, terrain display, selected, MCP. We're going to be VNAV, LNAV, 224 up to 230 is set. Displays, checked. Auto brake, RTO. Fuel quantity and distribution, 14,000 pounds and checked. CDU, check. Engine start levers, cut off. Transponder, TARA, aileron rotor trim 00. Departure briefings completed. I kind of went out of order. We're going to hit that in a second. Fasten belts on. APU on buses. Fuel panel set. Flight forms AML. Onboard accepted. Aircraft 3JP. PEDs off. All right. I kind of went out of order there, but let's do the briefing now. So we've got our before start checklist. The line is done. Let's go ahead and start the route review. This would have been done prior to me running the checklist, but it's kind of hard when I'm playing captain, first officer, ramp agent, clearance delivery, flight attendant, etc. So now we're going to focus on the briefing. We're going to be Kennedy, DC, American 357 tonight, or right now, I should say. That's not going to be what we're doing tonight, but for the sake of flight sim. We're on the JFK, Kennedy 5 to Robbinsville, Quebec 430 to Copes, Q75 to Modena, Clipper 3 arrival, and then I have the RNAV Zulu 19 set. I got a total distance of 219 miles. I'm going to cross-reference that with my flight plan here that I'm looking at. Our flight planned distance is totaling 223, so that checks out. All right, route review is complete. I'm going to go route copy, legs review. We'll move you into plan mode. All right, are you ready for the legs review? Yes, I am. Hold on to your butts. Here we go. Okay, it's going to be heading Robbinsville, Copes, Modena, Modena at 230, Nuggy, Troyes, Belay, Trish, Clipper, Baltimore 250 at 10,000. I should have mentioned Clipper at 12,000. Eyes, Edwood, Megs, Nays. Then we're on a Vector, and this is going to be into the RNP Zulu. Derrick, 180 knots or below, at above 2,700 feet. Sunny, above 2,000. Grays, Fonvie, Jubal, Werso, Firop to runway 19. I do see a glide path there, 3 degrees. Optional to brief the legs of the approach here, because it's such a short flight, we're going to be briefing it right now. All right, so that's complete. Then we have a missed out to Baden. All right, route and legs review is completed. Let's get into performance. Okay, we got a zero fuel weight of 125.5. We're grossing out at 139.5. Reserve 6.4. Cost index of 33. We're cruising over there, flight level 230. Temperature, transition altitude 1,000 feet. Temperature outside is 6. We're going to assume it to 54. We're doing a 24K wet. This is going to be flaps 1 off runway 22 right. Speeds 139, 144, 146. Trim 5.5 units is set. We're full length, and we're looking for 88. Let's see, yeah, we're looking for 88.2, so that checks. We're within 5 of our TPS. Wonderful. Any questions on that? No, I do not. Then we would run the checklist. A couple other things would happen. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and close up shop and get out of here. AJ Funari, thank you for the $3 super chat. I'm always about the legs review. Nothing beats. I hear you, man. Thank you, AJ, for the $3 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Fly USMC is also in the house, my man. Good to see you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. My prayers and wishes for good fortune on your check ride, Skipper. Hey, thank you, Fly USMC. I appreciate you, man. Very, very kind. All right, go ahead and you're good to pull ground power. Yeah, you're good to ahead and pull the jetway as well. We're going to close up the doors. Beautiful. We've got the cabin lights of divinity back there. They're so bright, can't do anything about it. Guide person comes on, says, cockpit to ground, we're hooking up down here, down below. Y'all ready? He's like, yeah, stand by. We'll give him a call. We're going to do the below the line. I'm going to run through my flow. That's already on. Hydraulics are coming on. That's all set for now. That actually should be, yeah, that's open. That looks good. Let's get the doors are out. Anti-collision light is on. Check pressurization of the hydraulic system. It has pressurized. Come down here. And we are doors, lights out. Wonderful. Below the line, probe heat on. Hydraulic panel set. Doors, windows, close and lock. Anti-collision light is on. 4-star checks complete. Cockpit to ground. All right, actually, I'd be over here. Can I move my, let me move my seat over here. Ramp, it's American 357, ready to push off, Bravo 41. American 357, roger, push back, approved, call ready taxi. When you brief the legs, would you do it with the SID-Star charts? Yes, Bills Mafia. Great question, and this is good for Sam, who I think is listening behind the scenes. He's going to be going through the same process. So the route review, when we brief the route page, that is going to be the pilot monitoring is looking at the route on our filed paperwork. When I go to legs review, we cross-reference the Jeppesen charts for SIDs and stars, and then when you're off the SID, then you go to the in-route waypoints on our flight plan. And then when you get onto the star, you transition back to the Jeppesen charts for the star. But yeah, good question, man. It's a little bit of both. So there is a lot of flipping back and forth there of charts and stuff. You kind of got to let your guy know that, hey, yeah, we are, I'm on the SID now, or I'm on the star now. There you go. We've got to pull the chocks. That helps. All right, cockpit to ground. You're good to start. All right, Captain will say start engine 2. There we go. Packs off. Grounding 2. Hack the clock. We have a little fun. Let's take a listen. Guys, I need to build a 737 cockpit now. Captain Tango, my man. I know it, dude. I'm itching. I'm itching. Thanks for the 44 months support, man. Appreciate you. Fuel on. Mick Shiggity Pilot, thank you for the 50 months of support, my friend. It says best wishes on your new endeavor, 737. Thank you, Mick Shiggity Pilot. Appreciate you, man. Very, very kind. Cockpit around, push complete, set brakes. Brakes set, clear disconnect, show spin out front. We're going to start number 1. Start 1. Grounding 1. So we're going to isolate, ventilate, grounding 1. Starting engine 2 first time. Times have changed, haven't they, Captain Tango? My goodness. 25% fuel on. Alberto D, my man. What's up, man? Alright, so we pushed back, and ironically, they pushed us the wrong direction, which is going to work out good for us here. We're going to do our runway change here before we start moving. Alright, got a good start on 1. APU bleeds coming off. That's going auto. We're going to get engine anti-ice on. We'll get the wing anti-ice on as well. Captain's going to put us on buses. And APU's coming off. Alright, I have a salute, flaps 1. Flight controls. Aft start checkers, please. Anti-ice. It is on. Generators on. Air conditioning and bleeds set. Flaps set. Flight controls checked. Recall coming at you. I have 6 check. Aft start check is complete. Ramp American 357 taxi. American 357, I see your tug push you the wrong way. We actually have updated weather. Winds are now 260 at 15. You can expect runway 31 left for departure. Advise ready taxi. All right, stand by for American 357. All right, so now we're going to incorporate a runway change. This is where it gets pretty wild. I'm not going to do the 10 knot tailwind mathing right now, but we're just going to go through the runway change. So we actually have procedures for this. I got to pull up. What was the word of the day for Sims? I can't remember what he called it. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank. IP I had last night was fantastic. All right, so anyway, runway departure change. I'm going to throw you guys into the program camming for this. All right, so let's go ahead and set up the departure change, Cap. We're going to be departing now off runway, what did I say? Runway 31 left. Runway 31 left. Now, we're still going to be on the Kennedy 5, so we'll execute that. JFK 5, execute that. Now we need to do a route legs review check here as well. So let's make sure we have that. So we're still Kennedy DC American 357. We're going to be off of the Kennedy 5 to Charlie Romeo India, and then a vector to Robbinsville. Okay, that looks good. Legs page. The only added fix now is Charlie Romeo India, and we'll take a vector. We're going to leave the disco in there to Robbinsville. Okay, that looks good. I like that. So we go back to route. We're going to reroute copy that. That's the runway change. Now we need to go ahead and reset our takeoff. And we're going to have to use QRH V-speeds because we have multiple methods of getting new V-speeds now. But in sim world and training world, we're not going to use the ease of use of having data link uplink. So we're going to skip through all this stuff, and we're not getting a new TPS. We have to go to the part that says uplink data is not desired or unavailable. We're going to use FMS QRH V-speeds. So let's go ahead and go to the index perf page, N1 limit, and we're going to select the desired thrust rating. So we're going to have the highest thrust that we have. It's going to be 24K. All right, 24K for what we have. We are going to have a slight tailwind. I'm going to skip the tailwind math, but because of that, we are not going to derate. So we're going to take the assumed temperature out. We're going to do 24K wet. All right, now we're going to go to the takeoff page. But before we use QRH V-speeds, we can turn it on, but we're going to go to page 2, and now we have to set up the conditions. Winds are going to be 260 at 15. Runway slope for runway 31 left. I got to go to my flight plan, 31 left slope. Such a pain to find this. Right, actually, 3. It's 0. It is 0. So we're going to put 0. And the runway condition is wet skid resistant. So skid resistant means grooved. Here in the United States, almost all runways are grooved. So we're going to be wet skid resistant, and we're not going to be derating. The engine out altitudes are still thousands. Now we can go back, and now we can use QRH V speeds 40, 42, 50, update our MCP speed. 142 is set. Now I need to look at my TPS thrust. Ooh, we're right in the limit. So TPS thrust, 91.9. We're getting 92.4. That is literally 0.5 within limits. So we are 0.5 within. We're looking good there. And actually, I bet you if my temperature was correct in the sim, because it's, yeah, that's what it is. If my temperature was a little bit colder, our N1 would be a little bit less, and it would be, I bet you it would be spot on with my paperwork, but we're still 0.5 within what I have on the paperwork here. So that's all done. So now we need to do another performance review. So let's go ahead and go over that. We're 0 fuel weight, 125.5. We're doing 24K wet. We have a 1 knot tailwind, mostly a crosswind. We're still flaps 1. 92.4, trim is 5.5, 140, 142, 150, 3-1 left, full length. We're grossing out at 139.3. Our assumed takeoff weight is 140.8. We're below that, and our structural limit rate for landing is 151.4. So within limits on all those. Any questions? No questions. All right, runway change checklist is complete. All that to change a runway, guys. All that to change a runway. All right, ground American 357 right taxi. American 357, roger. Taxi runway 31 left via Alpha. Oh, let's just make it up. Let's get down there via Alpha Juliet Zulu. All right, brakes released. Let's go. Alpha Juliet Zulu. Can you send for new TPS? Yes, Sam, you could, but you're not going to be able to do that in sim. They're gonna want you to skip to the uplink data is not desired or available. That is correct. Oh, I need to set my new runway heading. We weren't quite set up. It's going to be, look at that, 314. We gotta spin these all around 314. Did it not take 140, 142, 150? Oh yeah, I said VR. There we go, thank you. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for creating the best community on YouTube. Flight Sim guy, my man. Appreciate you, dude. Chris PT6 is in the house. My man, how you doing, buddy? I'm gonna need it. I appreciate you. I'm gonna need it. Is it important in the check ride to go, hey, what's this button do? It is important. Gray shirt, what's up, man? Yeah, that's what they love to hear in the check ride is, what does this button do? Look at the flaps on this one. I love this livery. It's got all the grime on it. All right, so we're gonna make the first left. We're just gonna hustle on down. It's already 11:30. We gots to hustle. What's up, Shaq Oatmeal? Good luck on your side, on your ride, V1. Home visiting the fam first time since October. Since October, dude. That's wild, man. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy some time home, Shaq Oatmeal. This is the Indian Builds Kennedy, which I absolutely love. A perf is so good here. Indian Builds did send over a DFW. I don't have time, obviously, today to do DFW, but we're going to do DFW this week, too. As a long-time DFW native, we're going to take a good look at that Indian Builds DFW scenery. Be pretty sweet. I plan to do that hopefully Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday or Friday. Why Flaps 1 McShiggity Pilot? That's what we have. I'm using my real numbers for tonight in the sim. That's what I have planned on my paperwork. I will say a majority of paperwork that I have seen has been Flaps 1. We do some Flaps 5. And of course, you can go all the way to Flaps 25 for takeoff, right? Like out of a John Wayne or something like that. But I'm using the paperwork for tonight. And that's what they got on it. I'm just going to kind of make my way down here as quick as I can because I am a little bit crunched on time. What's a let's see, what is it, Lima? Yeah, there we go, Alpha. We'll just take Alpha all the way down. It's going to turn into... Juliet, I think. Captain problems. Should set up the HUD. They are primary. Seems like PMDG always sees Flaps 5. You know, I've noticed that in the sim brief performance, I always see Flaps 5 in that. I do. You have the Indian Builds Albuquerque? Wait, Indian Builds has an Albuquerque scenery? For real? Dude, I will do that. So Albuquerque is going to be on my LOE tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing in the sim. I won't have time to do it in Flight Sim because I'm going to stay down at the hotel. I'm going to stay down at the HQ tonight. And then my sim tomorrow is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, but it's DFW to Albuquerque. Albuquerque, Houston, I think? Or Albuquerque back to DFW? Al Loper says, DFW is good, but could be better. The runway and taxiways look like stock Azoba, but the terminals are good. That's interesting, Al. I'll have to, yeah, like I said, I haven't looked at it yet myself. I did see a little bit of Captain Canada's streaming it yesterday, I believe. Or I tuned in right when he was landing because I wanted to see that, and I saw the runway texture, and I'm like, huh, it does look a little plain. But let's be honest, DFW is pretty plain, real world. like there's not a whole lot of fun stuff around DFW. Oh, Dominican design. There we go. That sounds right. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they have. I don't think they have it. American 357 cleared across runway 4 left. Continue taxi Juliet full length runway 31 left. All right, clear left, cleared across, clear right, cleared across. We would do our lights thing, right? So I'm gonna come up here. We'll do our lights. Boom, across the runways. Viz is dropping here pretty good. So I'm curious. I've never tested this. I didn't know this. This wing anti-ice switch is one of, what is it, 2 magnetic switches on the overhead. Once we apply takeoff thrust, that should click off automatically. In the real airplane, it will. And then we can turn it on again at 1,000 feet. Let's see if it does it in the sim. All right, Kennedy 5 departure is up. Runway 4 is up. All right, let's go ahead and start running some checklists, sir. Before takeoff to the line, takeoff data and bugs. And bugs. We'd hold the closeout. Closeout received and checked. Flaps, 1, green light. Stab trim, 5.5 units. Takeoff brief complete. HUD is set. Generators on. Air conditioning and bleeds, auto and set. Before takeoff, checklist to the line. But actually, you just say to the line, Sam. Man, this is dropping pretty good. American 357. Runway 31 left. RNAV. Grand Strand. CRI. Clear for takeoff. All right, below the line. MCPND, LNAV, VNAV. Checked runway. Oops, I'm trying to read. This is why you have 2 people. Wow, look at the visits dropping for this. Checked runway. Three-one left. I was having a minor heart attack there. 3-1 left. PA is complete. Lights are set. Before takeoff, checklist complete. Wow. All right, your aircraft. My aircraft. Center it up. Now, I would love to do a HUD takeoff, but since I'm not going to be doing a HUD takeoff tonight in this weather, I'm going to practice without it. Let's go. Toga. Thrust set. 92.4. $80.
V1.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear up. American 357 contact departure American 357. Look at that, it did click off. We're at 1,000 feet. Wing and ice coming back on. Very cool. All right, flaps up. In the turn. Wing and ice did work exactly as it should. Flaps are coming up. I'm not getting a lot of the juicy views on this one because, again, we're trying to be realistic here. American 357, present position direct Robbinsville. Present position direct Robbinsville, American 357. Execute LNAV, we're going to Robbinsville now. Unable 250 at Baltimore, roger that. Alright, I'm going to get the autopilot on so I can do some more flow. I'm going to get this out of the way so you guys don't have to see it. After takeoff, checklist is going to be done silently, so we're going to go gear lever off. That's coming off. We're going to come up top, make sure the packs are set, anodize as required. Pressurization, cabin is moving, APU is off. After takeoff checklist, we'll look at it. Flaps, gear, auto brake, air conditioning, ATS, and takeoff check is complete. Roger that. Thank you. We're cooking with gas now. We are cooking with gas now. What time is it? 11:42. We're looking good. Let's see. Progress page showing DC 2318Z. Sim time now is. Oh, that ain't that's not right. That's the top one. 23:51. 40 minutes. Text the wife. She might have to get lunch with the girls. All right, well, I was completely heads down all the way on that. Now I can catch back up with the chat. Let me turn the sim sounds down a little bit. This is a preset Captain AB. This is a preset weather because I'm simulating the weather I'm going to be using tonight as best I can from the METARs and stuff that I'm going to be using in my real loft check tonight. So it's going to be crosswind, and DC is going to be the next one. We're going to have a nice crosswind as we do the RMP Zulu 19, and we got to make sure we don't get a bank angle or anything like that on that RMP approach. We're going to set up for that here shortly. Overhead panel, yeah, it did work. It did work indeed. Yep, when the valve closes, when you said takeoff thrust, exactly, for the wing anti-ice. All right, coming through 10,000 feet. Give them a stereo call. We're on an NG. We get the retracts up. American 357, proceed direct to Modena. Modena. Execute. I saw DFW Terminal D the other day. It makes Terminal C and A look like crap. Oh, yeah, Sam. Terminal D is where it's at in Dallas. Now, there is, which is the one that they finished the remodeling on that's really nice. And the C is old. They did remodel. I'm drawing a blank now. Is it A? They remodeled one of them. It's a smaller section, but if you go there, it's really nice. I think it is A. But D is the internet. Man, D is the International Rivals Hall, man. So they got all their. That's where they spend all the money. Yeah, C is being worked on. They're extending a few pillars out there, and then they also have the high Ds. Which I don't think, from what I saw, I don't think the high Ds are modeled in that Indie Builds one. They might have got some older references. I mean, construction happens fast, right? So. Good luck. Thank you, Poltergeist. Appreciate you, man. Do you have any tips for the 7.3 type rating? I just finished CBT technical course. I have my first sim next week. First type. Good luck on the check ride. Thanks, man. Hey, just study what they study what they tell you to study. That's my tip. Don't get caught up in doing a bunch of other extra stuff or trying to do too much at once. Study what they tell you to study. If they want you to show up knowing your flows and callouts, literally show up studying your flows and callouts, because if you know what switches you're supposed to be moving, when you're supposed to be moving them, everything else, you're going to have so much more brain power to do everything else, right? If you're sitting in the cockpit, you're like, okay, oh my gosh, we had 10,000. What's my 10,000 foot flow? Then you're not, learning is not occurring when you're like, oh, what are we going to do through 10? Are we going to accelerate? All other stuff, you know? So always study what they tell you to study, and if you're going to a place that has flows, call-outs, triggers, things like that, have those down ready to go on day one. Because then the flying stuff is going to be much easier to retain. It's going to be much easier to learn when you're focused on the airplane, because you already know what everything else, what you're supposed to be doing. DFW Skylink is your favorite airport? It is, yeah, Sam, it's the best one, dude. Skylink is awesome. The Atlanta plane train is like, if you were riding a train into hell, I feel like it would be the Atlanta plane train. Welcome on board the plane train. Do do do. I have nightmares from that plane train, dude. Nightmares. American 357 for traffic. Change cruise altitude is going to be flight level 210. 210 for the final. We'll set 21.
Missed my membership, smile. It's been a while. Rewatching your old streams as I am getting back to flight simming in Explain. Good luck for your check ride. Thanks
Swappy.
for everything that you do.
Long time no see, Swappy. Thank you so much for the bank angle check. Appreciate you very much. Very kind of you. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the content, and hope you enjoy getting back into it, man. Getting back in the saddle, flight sim. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. Thanks, sir. Long time no see. Out of 18,000 feet, we'll go ahead and hit standard set once and twice, and I'll go ahead and just reset the engine acceleration altitude. Now, we also have a new cruise altitude, right? So 21, we're going to set it up here. And we can also get rid of the engine and wing and ice. We're done with all that. Ice is coming off. 210 is set up there. We'll come down here, and in our VNAV page, we're going to hit 210 for a new cruise altitude. Done. All right, we are done with all that. And let's just say let's maintain maximum forward speed. Get up there. Oh, we're gonna be right in transition. 6.6 Mach. Let's do let's see what 7.8 is here. Can we get to cruise? Nabil Hamdoui, the GOAT video editor himself. My man. 2 years, that went fast. It sure did, didn't it, Nabil? My goodness. That went real quick. 2 years, man. 7.4 is about all it's gonna net us here. I'll tell you what, let's do 330. Can we just do 330 indicated? Yeah, 330 indicated. Perfect. At 21, not quite transition over. Unable 250 at Baltimore. We're gonna address that right now. As soon as we get up to speed, short flight, seatbelt sign is coming off. You're free to move about the cabin, do your things. All right. What did AJ say? That deal? Oh, just like water. Jeez. Are you going to get any fishing tournaments in? KW, I have no idea, man. So after my check ride, I have to do MAX, return to service training, which is put on by Boeing, from Boeing. It's a Boeing instructor. Boeing pays for it. Basically, we're going to do some additional MAX training. I've already done. Ooh, I missed my 18,000 foot flow. Forgot the wing lights and the logo lights. And all these lights out of 18,000 as well. I got to do return to service MAX training from Boeing. Even though I've already done MAX training, runaway stab, and all that stuff, we have an additional day of training, and it's pretty much mostly revolving around MCAS. Obviously, with the tragedies that happened with the 7.3 MAX and MCAS situation, runaway stab trim, all that stuff. But it really dissects the difference between a runaway stabilizer and an MCAS malfunction, because there are differences. I mean, you can have a runaway stabilizer and an NG, right? It's probably going to be a very suboptimal situation, but the MAX takes a little bit further with the MCAS system. Will you let us know how your sim flight went tomorrow? I sure will, McShiggity Pilot. I sure will, my man. All right. Sandman, thank you for the 11 months support. Says, I feel like I've gotten a virtual 737 type rating. Thanks for the streams, V1. Sandman, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, I feel like this has been a kind of fun. If we go back and watch, I'm going to have to go back and look at some of the first streams. Like, where were we in Oslo? I think we were in a Norwegian 7.3. It was like, I just got my books for the 7.3. Let's kind of start looking at stuff, right? We were reading the flows as we did them one by one. Took, an hour and 20 minutes to get off the gate. And now here we are getting ready for a type ride. So it's pretty cool. The process is fun. I always think some people don't like training. I actually enjoy the act of training. I mean, I enjoy learning new stuff. I enjoy the process. Like the whole process to me is exciting. Like you show up, man, I don't know anything about this airplane, and I'm going to be expected to fly it safely with people on board at the end of this course. Signing me up. Just that whole prospect of training is exciting to me. I like that. So then going through it, man, and then it just all starts to come together. I feel like as you start a type rating, it's like, it's a lot of information. I'm just going to take little chunks at a time. And then at some point, typically around the halfway to 2/3 mark in your training curriculum, yeah, light bulbs start really coming on. And everything really starts coming together. Like, okay, I know I'm doing this because of that. I know this does this because of that. It really starts to come together. Then the last third of your training is, all right, now we know that you know what's happening. Show us that you know it, right? And then that's when the checking comes in, and then, of course, the final check ride and stuff. How much reading was involved? I'll be honest with you, McShaley Pilot, I probably read the least amount for this type rating because almost all of my initial systems training was done via electronic computer-based training. So CBTs, I had an iPad app, and it basically dissected each system. So, I mean, there was some reading, but it's being narrated to me. So I'm following along, but I'm not sitting there with a POH, going through, okay, this is this system, this is this system. It's taught through, a lot of the systems were taught through computer-based training programs. And then when you show up for system/ground school, you have an instructor kind of reinforcing everything that you should have already at least heard of once from the modules. Sam, he's in chat. He's going through the same exact thing right now that I just did. And he's going through those modules. They are put together pretty nicely. And it's, sometimes, I won't lie, you go through one module and you're like, well, that made no sense. But you heard the information, and then you show up to systems with an actual ground instructor, and it's 2-on-1 or 1-on-1 with the instructor, and then they're teaching you the same stuff that you may not have understood, but you heard it. So as he's teaching it, you start recalling what you heard, like, okay. So it kind of piecemeals, your brain starts piecemealing everything together, and you start, the end goal, right, is to have everything together as one big picture. Yeah, Fly Sim Guy, it was a lot of interactive modules. The reading that I do now, and I'm still doing, is mostly company stuff, right? So stuff that's not going to be in a Boeing manual or a 73 manual. It's just like, what are the procedures for this company for this airplane? That's what I'm reading. What are the procedures for doing this task in this airplane? Boeing says you can do it this way, and that way. Company wants us to do it this way. This is how I'm going to do it. That's what I'm mostly reading. Check rides are just another flight. If you know the stuff, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's time to show with, hey, Michael J., that's exactly what I used to tell my students when I was an instructor. I was like, don't be nervous for the check ride. Because if you got signed off, if I sign you off for a check ride, that means I know you're ready. So it's your time to shine. Like, it shouldn't be, of course, it's natural to have a little bit of nerve or a little bit of angst. Like, okay, yeah, it's all right, this is for real. But at the same time, you should be smiling like, all right, let's go to work. Let's get it done. This is what we get paid to do. This is why we do this job. And you get to display your knowledge, right? So I agree. That's if you don't feel that way, now not everybody's the same way. Some people just are natural. They're not natural test takers, and they don't really enjoy being in a testing environment. I think the majority of pilots, though, aren't that. And if you are, you probably start to get accustomed to that, or get better as you progress through your training. Because being a pilot, you will be checked a lot. You'll have written tests, you'll have check rides, you'll have stage checks, you'll have recurrent check rides. So over time, you're gonna. I think most pilots get over that if you have that little bit of anxiety. But for the most part, man, yeah, it's time to go to work. That's what you get paid to do. All right, I'm going to start prepping for our RNAV. Let me pull out my real-world chart here. RMP Zulu 19er right. And we're going to start planning this here together. I'm going to bring this chart over, and actually I could probably pull it up here. DC Clipper 3, Baltimore 250 at 10, and then the approach. And for time purposes, I may vector us off, and so we can wrap it up, because I don't have my truck. My wife dropped me off before they went to dance class today with the girls, so I don't want to keep them waiting too long. All right, so I'm going to set up the RNP Zulu 19. I'm going to just show you our procedure, how we do that. So we've already loaded it. We've already verified it because it is a short flight, but I'm going to double check RNAV Zulu. We have that. What we're going to do for situational awareness is I'm going to take the final approach point on this approach, which is going to be sunny. And we're going to keep our speed up. I just heard it spool back. Let's go ahead and set that, and I'm going to set 10,000. Rail nav, VNav path, 10,000, and we've got speed window, we're set 310 here for right now. I'm going to take, what was it, sunny, final approach fix. We're going to copy that. We're going to go to the fix page. We're going to put it here. We'll put a 2-mile ring around it. Sunny, a knit ref. We're going to be flaps 40 into DC8 today, flaps 40, 137. While I'm on this page, we're going to do a couple things. We cannot do a standing landing assessment on this one, Sam. You'd have to actually pull out the land app for this and do your performance manually. Our final approach course, while I'm on this page, I like to start setting everything up before I get off the init ref page. So our final approach course inbound is 187. The DA that we're going to use, we're going to be RNP .1, we're going to be 491. So I need to, that's the only thing about MobiFlight, I can't bind it correctly on MobiFlight. 491. Alright, 491, and then copied it over the FO side. Don't do that. Yes, let me do that. It's just for sim purposes. All right, 491. We'll do our landing assessment, flaps 40. Then there's a couple other things we need to do. We're going to go to the progress page, nav status, page 2. We're going to deselect VOR updating. And then we're also going to go back to progress page 4. And this is where we're going to set in our required RMP. Can PMDG do 0.11? And 125 in the vertical window. It's going to update here. Ours actually update in these windows, but you can see here. I think it's just an older software. 0.11, 125 for the scale. That is set. Right now you can see the actual AMP is 0.06, so we've got that. 491 in the barrows. That's our check +2. That looks good. All right. So I'll brief it off of the chart for you real quick as we're kind of descending down. Your aircraft, any threats, short runway, flaps 40, all that good stuff. All right, here we go. 12/21, effective 2 October. Final approach course 187. Sunny, the final approach point is going to be 2,000. We do have our fixed ring around Sunny. Give it a late. I can step over to it there too. Bring it somewhere in there so you can kind of see. Yeah, it's all kind of confused. It's all kind of trying to give you guys a screen where you can see it all. There we go. There's our 2-mile ring around Sunny for situational awareness. We're going to be doing RMP .1. Barrels 491 set both sides. Touchdown is 13 feet. Sector altitude 19 is 2,500 feet. Now, I don't think. What is it? Plivia? Plvia. Oh my gosh, it does exist. And we're going to put a 1-mile radius around that. That is the P56 warning area right there. Do you see that? So I have that. We do not want to cross into that. With the crosswind here, it's going to be pretty wild. You're going to have to keep that bank angle in there, and you want to make sure that we don't overbank as well. Coming down the RMP approach. We got Pappies on the left, Mousa flighting. If we have to go miss, it's going to be straight out 3000 on the final approach track to runway 19. Eventually going to hold at Addons, that's in the box. Landing runway 19 will be a right-hand turnoff, and we'll get ourselves to the gate from there. You got any questions, comments, concerns? We're going to be auto brake 3, flaps 40. Any questions? No questions. And we can also make sure we deselect the VOR down here. Let's put 13.9 and we'll throw that in the radios. No questions. All right, descent checklist, please. We're out of 18,000 feet. Seatbelt sign is coming on. We'll make our PA. Wing lights are coming on. Logos are coming on. These are coming on. And into the icing conditions we go. Wing, engine and ice is coming on. All right, approach, descent checklist. Altimeters, 3000 set, cross-checked. Approach preparation is complete. Pressurization check. Terrain display is selected. Lights are set, descent checklist complete. American 357 for traffic. Proceed direct to Megs. For traffic and time, direct to Megs. Maintain 10,000 best forward speed. Alright. 10,000 best forward speed direct to Megs. So 400 foot. Hopefully we see something down there. The winds in the simulator tonight, I don't have the actual ATIS, but it's going to be calling for 3 miles light snow. Half mile. That's later though on the TAF. What is our 6,000, 1.25. So it's 2 miles right now, according to my METAR. It's going to be 2 miles crosswind, overcast 500, which is right above minimums. I'm going to make sure my minimums of us will see something, because I don't want to be going around. Wind 270. It's actually going to be closer to 260. Winds will be 260 at 1.5. And this is above ground level 616. That's fine. Alright, so we should see everything up. We should see it. Alright. Y'all been briefed. I've been briefed. American 357 ascend and maintain 3,000. We're going to hustle down, so I'm going to set 250, 3,000, level change. Speed brake is coming out. I know we're going to be speeding here a little bit, but this, for time purposes, going through 10, we get the retracts on. Sounds are coming up. All right, before landing, checklist to the line. Approach briefing is complete. Seatbelts on. PA is complete. Recall. I have 6 checked. Auto brakes 3. HUD set. I'm not going to deploy it because I'm not going to be using a HUD for this approach. Radios and displays. We'll hold it at radios and displays because we're going to need to go into VNAV. So we'll hold it there. Hold it there. I wonder if I should fly the approach from this seat. It's going to throw me off though because my right hand is not going to be doing the right things. I do want to record this though. So let me get my recorder up. Guys, remember, if you like to see Firehose check ride content streams, make sure you hit the like button. I know it's a little bit different. It's a little bit less interaction with you guys in chat. Like, try to keep my head down, stay focused. But if you like that kind of stuff, do hit that like button. Go around Toga, flaps 15, positive rate, gear up, set misapproach altitude, Sam. Set misapproach altitude, set misapproach altitude. I have a hard time remembering set misapproach altitude. We always set it. I've never not set it, but I never used to say it, so it's kind of hard for me. Tender, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. I have a bit of a sailor mouth. My instructor never minded, but always reminded me to tone it down for the check ride. Truth. Starstep, what's up, man? I hope all is well. As a real-world avionics tech, I know how heavy aircraft controls feel. Would you say a PMDG Fenix like the real aircraft? X-plane Microsoft feels better. It depends on the dev, man. I think the PMDG is... From what I have flown in our simulators, training on the 7.3 right now over the last month, PMDG is, I mean, it's very accurate. It is a highly accurate rendition of at least what I have been exposed to in the sim. Now, as far as control pressure on the yoke, if I were to make my Brunner have the actual control pressure of the 737 yoke, my desk would move. It would move. It's very heavy on the controls. A lot, well, I should say, it's a lot heavier than I guess thought, right? I've been on the bus for 10 years, so I don't even know what a control yoke airplane feels like anymore. I have fixed my Brunner though, but I mean, it's pretty forgiving around that center point. I mean, so when you're fighting a crosswind, gusty winds, you're going to be moving the yoke quite a lot. But I really think it just kind of comes down to the developer in the sim, you know, like some airplanes in Microsoft, I think they fly very, very well, very believable. But then there's also planes that I don't find believable. But the same is true about X-planes. Some X-plane airplane, they land like they're bricks with no wings. Like if you flared the Tolis 321 like you do an X-plane 12, you would have tail strikes all the time in the real airplane. It's a little bit too heavy. But you know, their 320 I think is actually a little bit, 319, 320 seem a little bit better, but it just depends, man. The level up 7.3 and X-plane 12 is not very good flight model wise. We've come to that understanding. There's been some issues with the level up. Whoa, what is that? Was that lightning? Oh my gosh. My preset weather. 4,000 for 3,000. Oh, that's scary. Let's go back to terrain mode. I'm going to recruise this here, I think. Let's go VNAV. Let's recruise this 3,000. Let's slow to 200 knots. Let's go 7. VNAV. Descend and maintain 2,700. All right, let's do it. Radios and displays. I got LNAV, VNAV, path. 187 set cross check to the line.
2,500.
Aircon 357, proceed direct Derek. Cleared RNAV 19 approach. Direct to Derek, cleared RNAV 19. LNAV, VNAV, VNAV path set minimums. We're going to set 500 feet in the window. We're cleared for the approach. We're going to fly this in LNAV, VNAV. 500 is set. Here we go. Recording is on for the whole approach. Actually, I'm going to stop that. We're way out here. Stop that. Stop that. That recording stopped. Flaps 1. Speed verified. Flaps 1. That's another one you want to remember, Sam, is LNAV, VNAV, VNAV path set minimums. I'm going to redirect us to Derek here, a little bit wonky on the turn. Derek has a max speed of 180 knots. I don't know what we're doing here. It's all over the place in the turn. Flaps 5. Speed verified. Flaps 5. We're looking better now. 2,700 feet, 3,000. Not using the speed brake. You can arm it whenever you want to, as long as you're not using it. I'm going to arm you right now. Speed brake armed. Alright, start configuring gear down. Flaps 5, speed verified. Flaps 15, speed verified. Flaps 15. Flaps 25, speed verified. Flaps 25. What are we looking for? 143-ish? No drag time required. Combo. Airplane is struggling with this. Flaps 30. Speed verified. Flaps 30. And flaps 40. Speed verified. Below the line. Speed brakes armed. Green light. Gear down in green. Flaps 40. Green light. Before landing check is complete, verified. Recording is on. Now I'm going to be curious to see how the airplane handles this turn, and she seems to really be struggling on that as far as the bank. Might have something to do with the weather. Let's see how she handles. I really hope we don't have to go around here.
1,000.
Stable. Yeah, look at that. See the scale just off a little bit. One left. It's not good. Get on it. Get on it, NG. Alright, I am going to... technically I can't. This can't go. This is what I'm going to be looking at.
Plus 100.
Alright, I got the approach lights. Continue. Stable target sync. 400. Autopilot off.
500. Minimums.
This is where that wind's going to push you. Stay on it. Don't get a bank angle. Oh my gosh. correcting. Just did not like that final turn. We were way too high. We'd be going
Sink
around.
rate.
We'd be going around. But
Sink rate.
fucking
100.
that would probably be a go around.
50.
100%
40.
would have been.
30. 20. 10.
Deployed. I think the accuracy is too high. She's having a hard time that whole approach. Manual brakes. Yeah, 0.11 might have been a little tight. It's 80, 60. But yeah, if it did that real world, we would have definitely had a gone around. At least we got the replay. But you know what I think it might also be too is I think because the weather that I have set up, I think it's pretty convective, and that might be causing issues as well. All right, I mean, look at that. We're gonna cross 2-2 and 4. My goodness. Alright, let's do after landing checklist. Set stab trim 5 units. I'm gonna taxi on to this taxiway here. That's fine. We're not really doing our taxi procedures here, but after landing checklist, flaps up, auto brakes coming off. That looks good. Everything's good. We'll start the EPU. We're clear of the runway. Let's go ahead and get the wing light off. Steady on that. Oh, you know what? Sam, didn't I say I never forget missed approach altitude? I have someone wind back to stream. What was in this column when we went through minimums? Because my flight director was way above me. Did we literally forget to set mins? Or set, well, I mean, I know we forgot to set, we forgot to set missed approach altitude. I just said I've never forgot to set missed approach altitude, but I bet that's why the flight director guidance was so off. I wonder what it went into. Did it go into altitude? Acquire? Altitude hold? My goodness. I'd have to wind it back and see what happened. Well, I can guarantee you I'm not going to be doing that tonight. I won't forget that. It went to VNAV alt. Yep, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. That's wild. VNAV alt at minimums. Yep. That's exactly why we ended up. That's why we got high. That's why we got high. And this is why you don't do a check ride, you know, while entertaining, trying to reach chat and fly single pilot. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, kept with VNAV out. Yep. That's exactly what the airplane's supposed to do. And that's exactly the dangers of that. All right, I'm not going to shut it down. We're going to go into the replay because I want to watch it. All right, just keeping an eye with my ride. All right, let's see how the replay was. Went to VNAV out. That's wild. Well, it didn't disarm the auto. It disengaged when I pulled the reverser, Dandrini, but it didn't. The auto thrust didn't disengage because it's VNAV out, dude. It's in VNAV out. It's not supposed to. That's why you got to set misapproach altitude. Nothing wrong with the plane on that one. Just pilot error. And we can also land with the auto throttle on too. I don't think there's very many. Well, I don't know if there's very many, but 737 guys I know, unless they're doing dual channel, they disengage the auto throttles for approach. But we can land with the auto throttle on. No respect for stereo cockpit at all. That's the importance of stereo cockpit, man. That's also why we put that 2-mile ring around the final approach fix to start configuring. Alright. And then the minimums, make sure minimums are set. So right through here, watch, here's our minimums are still bugged. They have flight path vector on it.
Plus 100.
So right here, it's in VNAV, it's probably going to VNAV out when we hit 500 feet.
$500. Minimums.
But right here, that's where you got to be so careful. See, with that 15 knot direct crosswind, you got to be so careful on that bank angle. We're high. This 4 white, you definitely be going around.
100.
Yeah, we're about 50 feet high over the numbers. Touchdown in the touchdown zone. Look at the water. Is that that looks awesome. Has that always done that? The spray with the reverse thrust? I mean, look. That's always done that? I guess I don't fly in rain enough. Watch this. That is so cool. Bang on center line. For fun, hold on. Let's do it. Let's wind it back. And just for fun, I want to clear the weather.
Airspeed low.
Let's let it
Airspeed
stabilize.
low.
Everything's going to get all wonky here. Just give me a
Airspeed
second.
low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
There we go. I know. I'm gonna stop it. And I'm just gonna hand fly one here just for fun. That's a. Hold on. We're gonna have to change that window. That's a direct tailwind. Let's do winds 270 at 10. All right. That's fine.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
It's gonna
Airspeed
freak out for
low.
a second.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
It's all right. It's all right. Find yourself. Find yourself.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
There we go. Okay, I've got it. I'm flying. Let's just practice hand flying one in here visually. So we've got the 2 pappies. That's correct. Let's just do one more for fun, just for more for practice. Minimums continue. There you guys see the airport. And it's easier when you're visual like that, right? 3 reds is good here. Keep driving it down. No call outs, that's all right. What, did I arm those? Yeah, deployed. That's a good one right there. Dual pappies, they're actually there real world. They're not quite aligned like that though in real life. They're at an angle so you can see them as you're making the turn than as you roll out. So, Mickey G, what's up, man? What's cooking? Good looking, Mickey G, my man. Good to see you, dude. We're just messing around. I literally said I never forget to set misapproach altitude. We forgot to set misapproach altitude and ended up high on our approach. But hey, I am so happy that that happened on this stream. I know you guys are like, oh, this is a real pilot. Oh, I'm sure I'll get I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments on the on that. Wow, this guy's a real pilot. But I am very happy that we did that because, like I was saying, now tonight in 6 hours, I'm going to be on this approach, and I'm going to be thinking about that all the way down. So, with that said, I know it was a quick and dirty fire hose stream, but I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize for not being super interactive on this one, but I promise you this week we're going to hang out. We'll take a look at some DFW. I'll tell you all about my full training experience, hopefully a successful type ride tomorrow as well, and then doing the additional max training on Friday. But I will be off, I'll come home tomorrow night though. I'll be off Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday I have to do an observation flight, which is, but I got to do one, so I'm going to do an Austin turn. And then, like I said, yeah, Friday I'll probably be back home by, I'm hoping I'm home by 10 or 11 a.m. on Friday, and maybe we'll do a stream Friday night. Maybe we can do a long stream Friday night and just sit back, chill, and throw on IVEO standard. And y'all can fly along with me if you want to on that. But, all right, I'm signing off. 737 is freaking awesome. This approach, I mean, that weather was spot on. I have a custom weather preset that I have set for recurrent weather, and that's about what it looks like in the sim. I mean, that's pretty good representation there. Hopefully I don't see 4 whites. But I'm out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. I will catch you on the next one. Soup!